everyone, so today I'm going to be taking you through some of the books that I have backlogged to haul. For a while I just stopped doing hauls, like they stopped being interesting to me, but now I have just rekindled my love for them. But that does mean I have a lot of books to catch up on. I could just kind of start afresh and start hauling what I get from now on, but I really like having this channel to sort of chronicle my reading. So I'm going to start off with the non-fiction, and first of all I have Beyond the Pale by Emily Urquhart. In Canada in 2010, Emily gave birth to a baby girl. This baby was entirely white, like her hair was white. Within 3 months, the baby, Sadie Jane, is diagnosed with albinism, which is a rare genetic disorder. Using her knowledge of folklore, Emily begins to explore the representation of albinism throughout history and throughout mythology and folklore. She looks at what people thought about people with albinism throughout history. This is a book that comes very highly recommended, so I'm really looking forward to getting to it, and I definitely want to read more non-fiction this year. Next I have Living a Feminist Life by Sara Ahmed. This is another non-fiction book, and it is about feminist theory. It is about the ordinary experiences of being a feminist at work and at home. It has a particular focus on feminist scholars of colour, and I think this also has a lot to do with the term feminist killjoy, so I'm really looking forward to getting to this one. I can never have too much feminist non-fiction in my life. I have a few poetry collections. Two of them I'm going to go through very quickly because I have spoken about them in wrap-ups already. So first of all, I have Say Something Back by Denise Riley, and this is a collection that is about grief and loss. It's about the natural world and physical law. It is about how we remember and invoke those that have left us. Say Something Back was shortlisted for the Costa Poetry Prize, and I also have the winner of the Costa Poetry Prize, which was Falling Awake by Alice Oswald. These are poems that are deeply and physically engaged with the natural world. It has a lot to do with mutability and the idea that everything is unstable in the face of mortality. It's a lot to do with myth as well, and these poems are full of sound effects and they beg to be read out loud. They have to be read out loud. If you want to hear more of my thoughts on those two collections, I will link my December wrap-up down below. Next is a poetry collection that I really hope I enjoy, and that is The Princess Saves Herself in This One by Amanda Lovelace. This is probably one that you've seen around so much, and it's also like making waves on Instagram and Tumblr as well because it's such a simple but really cool looking cover. This is poetry about resilience and writing your own ending. It is split into 4 sections: the princess, the damsel, the queen, and you. And the first 3 sections piece together the life of the author, and the final section is a letter to the reader. Really hope I enjoy this one. It seems like it's going to be really accessible, powerful poetry. I've sandwiched this one between poetry and young adult and children's fiction because I'm not actually sure if it is written in traditional prose or if it's written in verse, because I know one of these authors has predominantly written in verse before, and that is We Come Apart by Sarah Crossan and Brian Conahan. I absolutely loved One by Sarah Crossan, so I'm really looking forward to reading this one and trying out more of her work. This is about 2 young people called Niku and Jess. As far as I can tell, these 2 characters are from quite different backgrounds. Niku has moved to England with his family in order to have a better life, but his parents talk a lot about him going home and finding a wife and settling down, and that isn't what he wants. And I believe there is an element of an abusive relationship between the father and son there. I don't know as much about Jess, but despite Niku really not being her type, they end up coming together, despite there seeming like there's no way that they can possibly be together. Next I have A Girl Called Owl by A.J. Wilson. This is a children's book about a young girl called Owl, who has a dad she has never met, a best friend that needs her more than ever, and a boy at school that won't stop giving her weird looks. To top all that off, Owl starts seeing strange frost patterns appearing on her skin, and she wonders if this is something to do with her absent father. This has been described as a glittering story full of frost and friendship, with writing full of magic and heart, so I'm really looking forward to reading this one and seeing what it's all about. It sounds like a lovely read. Moving on to some more contemporary adult fiction, I have Swimming Lessons by Claire Fuller, and you may know Claire Fuller as the author of Our Endless Number of Days. This is Claire's newest novel, and this has to do with the family of a missing woman. Gil Coman's wife, Ingrid, has been presumed dead, presumably drowned, for 12 years. A possible sighting brings their children together, and they begin to try and unravel the mystery of their mother's death. And there is some sort of truth that Gil has been hiding from everyone. Next I have a book that I'm so excited about, and that is Swing Time by Zadie Smith. I own quite a few Zadie Smith books, and I've just not picked them up yet, and I don't know why. The Swing Time is a novel that moves from southwest London to West Africa, and is about 2 young women of colour who both dream of being dancers, but only one of them has the talent to do so. The other has ideas about rhythm and time and about black bodies, about black music and what it means to be part of a tribe and what it truly means to be free. Their close but complicated childhood friendship ends abruptly in their 20s. And while it will never be revisited, it will never be forgotten. I think this is going to be a really interesting book. I think it's going to be really fantastically written. So I'm really looking forward to getting around to it. Next I have The Secret Lives of the Emir Sisters by Nadia Hussein. I'm really intrigued by this book and slightly cautious about it. Nadia Hussein you may know as the winner of the Great British Bake Off a couple of years ago, and I'm a massive Bake Off fan and I love Nadia. I think she's a phenomenal woman. There is always a little bit of caution when someone that is well known or famous for another thing starts to dabble in fiction. And this is definitely being promoted as a book by the winner of the Great British Bake Off, like her face is on the cover. So I really do hope this is a good read because the premise actually sounds like something I'm really interested in and something I would really like to learn more about and discover more about. This is about the 4 Emir sisters who are the only young Muslims in a quiet English town. All of the girls have their own internal struggles, and when a family tragedy strikes, the 4 girls are brought closer together. I do really, really hope this is a good book. I haven't heard people talking about it on BookTube that much, so if you have picked it up or you're interested in picking it up, let me know down in the comments. And finally, I have The Fractured Life of Jimmy Deitz by Ronan Ryan. This is about a man named Jimmy who, when he was younger, he lost a lower limb to an attack dog. And this is the first of many disasters that shape him into who he is now. This is part love story, part coming of age, but this is also a book about Ireland and specifically about Dublin. It takes us from the days of the Troubles to the economy boom and bust, all the way to Dublin streets of today, and of course I'm going to be interested in this. Reading about the country I'm from is something that is fascinating to me. It's something that's become so important in my reading recently. So I have pretty high hopes for this one. They're all the books that I'm going to talk about today. Do let me know if you have any thoughts on them. Have you read any of these yet? Are there any of these that you really want to get to soon? Let me know down below and I will see you guys in my next video.